Imagine not being able to read the paper because your hands were shaking. Imagine not being able to read newsprint as your world faded to black. The National Federation of the Blind, Newsline, Indiana.
Welcome to the NFB Newsline, Indiana Town Hall Meeting 2024, Part 2. With your host, Lee Barton, and co-host, Florence Myers.
Thank you all for coming out today. We're still waiting on our special guest, our national rep, Ms. Pam Allen and her husband. They had a flight delay today. So that's the way the airline goes nowadays, huh? We'll be better. So we're improvising a little bit, but we're going to be all right. So I'm thankful that everybody is here today. It has been a very long, exhausting day for each and every last one of us. And I just want to once again tell you how much we really do appreciate you. And for all of us, we can still live like we want.
Good evening. My question was going to be for Mr. Allen, so I guess I will ask Mr. Brown. What drove you to become a mobility instructor?
Well, two things that drove me, Abby, and that was, so I was sitting in my office one day in 1997, and I was reading an article in the Braille Monitor, and it said, new pioneer project available in Louisiana, Ruston, Louisiana, and what we need to do is we're going to give blind people master's degrees in orientation and mobility, and all you have to do is come down here. It's a pioneer project, and we're looking for blind people to do it. Now, that's what struck me is when they said they were looking for blind people to teach the blind. Well, you know what we think about that. The blind leading the blind. They all gonna fall in a hole, you know, so it intrigued me to the point I picked up the phone and I called the director of the program, Dr. Ruby Riles. I love that lady. And she told me that, Ron, do you have your undergrad degree? And I said, yes. Well, good. You'll fit perfectly because this is a master's degree program. And we talked back and forth. And to make a long story short, I was the first person to sign up for her orientation and mobility project that they were trying to do at the time. It was a pioneer project in the nation. No one had ever done it, and no one had ever opened the doors to blind people, teaching other blind people how to navigate the world and how to travel. We knew it could be done because we teach each other every day. You know, we used to call it paired walking. You look out for the left side, and I look out the right side, and we'll go, you know, and we tell each other what we're doing. So, and when that happened, and she said, I thought I had pretty good travel skills. So I said, yeah, I'll come down. And the rest was history. Roland, that's going to be here this weekend, was my instructor. He was the first blind person to teach me cane travel, and on a master degree level. And so it was so exciting to me because I love to travel, but I also love the excitement of they would drive us around and around and around and then get us lost and say, get out and find your way back to school. And I was like, yes, you know. And then I mean, I'm thinking, you know, this is like a reconnaissance mission or something, you know. And I was out there, standing there, don't know where I am from Adam, and then yet, but the skills that he had already taught me and instilled in me started to kick in. 9 o'clock in the morning, sun hitting you in the face. Which way are you facing? You're facing east. 9 o'clock in the morning, sun hitting you in the face. If the school is west, I need to turn around. So I turned around. And see, the key to this whole drop lesson, as they call it, was you couldn't ask questions to anybody. And they were looking at us, you know, from afar. So this was the good thing about it. But what it did, it instilled confidence in us to know that if we can do it, we have the capacity to do it. I made it back safely, and oh man, if I can cross an 8-lane highway, then I knew my street would be a piece of cake at home, you know? And so that's the kind of lessons we teach in Louisiana in our training centers. We raise the bar very high. And if you can do the things that we do, people say, well, the NFB, they just make it impossible. What we do is we raise the level of expectations and your confidence in yourself. Then you go home and you keep those same expectations and you start putting them into others. And that's the beauty of passing the positive of the Federation's message.
All right. Well, I tell you, you seem to learn well, Brother Brown. So, I just got some news here that a flight has landed in Indiana. And although it was delayed, we do have the guest here. And we'll take a few minutes for them to come up front. And we'll just ask a few questions of them. As Ron indicated, that they'll be here all weekend, and we want you to take the opportunity to share with them, and they can share with you.
If you or someone you know is visually impaired or print challenged, the National Federation of the Blind has a resource you need.
I am a CFP practitioner, and I happen to be blind. I rely on NFB Newsline to keep me current with Wall Street Journal and the Financial Times.
Hoosiers can hear Indiana magazines, circulars, national magazines, and information from across the globe. Learn more by calling 855-963-6476 or visit nfbnewsline-in.org.
I am a blind vendor, and one of the things that I truly miss is reading Vending Times magazine.
Hoosiers can hear Indiana magazines, circulars, national magazines, and information from across the globe. Learn more by calling 855-963-6476 or visit nfbnewsline-in.org.
It is a fantastic service.
Subscribe free to NFB Newsline today. So we're just taking a few more questions. We're getting short on our time, but we just want to thank you once again for enduring and endearing and getting here to nap time. So let's give them another round of applause, please.
Well, and thank you, Lee, for the invitation, and thank you, everybody, for your patience while we battled the airline madness. But we are really excited to be here, and we want to take a minute to again celebrate Ron and Jean for their awesome achievements, and what a wonderful celebration, and thank you for stepping in. It's a hard act to follow.
Absolutely.
So we're very happy to be here.
Okay. So just a little bit about the two of you. We just want to hear a little bit about you guys authentically. We just want to ask a few questions of you. So Florence, go ahead and start with the first question.
Okay, I want to start with it's Pam Allen. Pam. Now, some know of you. Some of the people here don't. Would you just share a little bit about you? As far as let's go back just a little bit to when you were younger and you lost your sight, just a little bit.
Sure. So I first came to learn about the National Federation of the Blind when I was in college, and I was the recipient of a national scholarship. And I learned about the Louisiana Center for the Blind as part of my work getting to know the National Federation of the Blind. I had the chance to do an internship while I was in college, and after I graduated, I decided to pursue training, and the founder and director at the time, Joanne Wilson, offered me what I thought would be a temporary position at the center, and little did I know that it would not only change my life as far as my career and my profession, but most importantly that I would meet my husband and we would establish a life together, serving and working in the National Federation of the Blind. So I came from Buffalo all the way to Louisiana, and again, never anticipated at the time when I was in college that I would be where I am today. Opportunities come, and sometimes we don't know where the path will lead, but thankfully, because of my connection and my work through the National Federation of the Blind, it definitely transformed my life in so many ways.
Okay, so Roland.
Yes.
I have a question for you here. David? Rolling down the river. So we just thought we would throw a little twist in here for you today with
I like it.
you're playing a play off of your name, Rolling.
Yeah.
So you've been rolling in the air, so now you're rolling down the river here in Naptown. So we just want to thank you for coming again. But my question to you is this. You met your wife.
Yeah.
And so tell us a little bit about your journey. When did you lose your sight? And how has it been for you? How can you have you inspired others since you lost your sight?
Yeah, so first of all, thanks everybody for having us. Once again, sorry we're a little bit late getting here, but we're here. We're very happy to be here. So I am the second oldest of 7 kids. I'm blind from retinitis pigmentosa, RP. So before getting introduced to the National Federation of the Blind and my people at the Louisiana Center for the Blind, I never met a blind person. So my life as a blind person didn't really look very promising because my parents didn't know anything about blindness. I went through school, didn't have Braille or cane travel. So as you know, I'm a cane travel instructor. So when I was in school, I had this woman who was a resource teacher. So she came to the school and she would bring my, make my notes really big and give me all these magnifiers and all these different things. So my form of O&M was this. It's going to be kind of strange to some of you. This is my form of O&M. She gave me this little scope that I was supposed to use to catch the bus. So the bus is coming down the street. I'm supposed to take this thing out and focus on the bus sign. And by the time I got it all focused and it was kind of see the sign, bus is gone. So many times that happened. So I didn't have very much as far as training before coming into the National Federation of the Blind. So the thing that brought me to the National Federation of the Blind was actually my rehab counselor before I graduated from high school came to my school, and he was a blind guy now, but he was a blind guy who he actually didn't have very many skills at all either. So the way he got around, he didn't use a cane. He had himself a sighted wife. So the sighted wife would bring him to all his meetings and bring him, she even carried his briefcase for him. But I will tell you, the one good thing that this man did for me is he introduced me to the opportunity to go to the Louisiana Center for the Blind. And I was given a lot in that training center. I was given the gift of training, obviously. My favorite class, obviously, was travel. And when I was taught how to travel, I realized how much freedom I had, because with RP, many of you know, that's one of those, a condition that affects you in many, many ways, but mostly in dark and dimly lit places. So my life was just totally limited. So I want other people to have the freedom that I had. And so I've had many opportunities to work with a few thousand people at the center and coming to our conventions and just helping them to understand that life is definitely not over because you're blind. You know?
That's a great answer.
I'm going on, I'm sorry.
That's okay, because I know that one of the hardest people you had to train was Ron Brown.
Oh no.
So, okay, so we're going to just move forward here because we're running out of time.
Okay.
And I just wanted to ask Pam, when you became vice president of the National Federation of the Blind, how did that affect you at the very moment? Can you go back to that moment when you were asked to be the vice president of the National Federation of the Blind, and what you've done with that since then?
I definitely can reflect upon that and remember it. It is still, was, and continues to be an incredibly humbling honor, one that I take very seriously because I know how important the role is and the work that we are all doing together. I recognize the responsibility that comes with the position, and also the expectations, and I was humbled, honored, and very grateful, and also motivated because first and foremost, though I'm the first vice president, prior to that I had served as the treasurer. Regardless of the title that I held, I am a member of the National Federation of the Blind, and I know that the work that we do together happens because of all of us working together at every level. So whether it's on the local level, the state level, or the national level. But as first vice president, I recognized that I would be called upon to represent our organization in challenging times and in good times, that I would be asked to sacrifice time and energy and resources and effort. And my biggest thought was I wanted to make sure that I would not let down the membership of the National Federation of the Blind or the people who believed in me and placed their trust in me ongoing. And so I continue to this day. I've served in that role for several terms, and even recently, as I was reelected, I reflect upon the diversity of our organization, the things that we've achieved, and all that we have yet to do together. And so that's what keeps me motivated.
Now, Pam, now what advice, I know that you're a director of the training center, and what advice would you give to, let's say, children or young adults whose parents are losing their sight or have lost their sight?
I think, the most important thing I would say is that you're not alone. I think that so many times that's how a person feels, whether it's a child or the parent of a blind child or a young adult, or regardless of the age, that you're not alone, and there are people here to help, to answer questions, to provide resources. I would make sure that the young adult and their family knew that there are, in addition to skills and resources that we teach in our training program, that we have this huge community in the National Federation of the Blind. So whatever goal or dream or idea that young adult has, that there are blind people doing it, and if they're the first one to do it, they have a new dream, a new goal that we'll all be there to cheer them on. I would listen and talk with the family. Sometimes when blindness happens, at first there are a lot of questions, and sometimes anger and sadness and all types of emotions. And I think it's important to acknowledge those and help work through them, and then find solutions so that hope can come. And so I think the most important thing is connecting the individual, their family, and also the blind person themselves with other blind people who have walked that path, who've been where that person is, and to replace the fear and the uncertainty with skills and confidence and a connection to our organization.
Well, thank you. So I know that we're kind of over our time, and I just want to tell you all that these two great individuals will be here the entire weekend. And we want you to, just ask them questions. And I'm sure they'll give you answers, and they're going to be sharing quite a bit with us throughout our convention. So with that being said,
Lee, can I
yes,
say one
ma'am.
more?
Go ahead.
I want to say something really quickly, and again, the F is for flexible in the Federation, so thank you again for being flexible and understanding. I want to recognize Lee and Florence. We had a couple conversations, the most recent yesterday, but I know how much time and energy and hard work, and all the people who submitted questions, and just everybody for being here tonight to kick off the convention. We really, really appreciate it. We were so impressed by just the effort and the time that went into this. Kane told us about it as we were preparing, and just how excited and dedicated you are. And so, Lee and Florence, thank you again so much for all the hard work and the people behind the scenes that helped put this together. Just a great way to kick things off, and we are just thrilled to be here, and we can't wait to get to know all of you better this weekend.
If you or someone you know is visually impaired or print challenged, the National Federation of the Blind has a resource you need.
I use NFB Newsline when reading Hammond Northwest Times.
Using NFB Newsline, I read the Christian Science magazine.
Dad, you read Jerusalem Post too.
Learn more by calling 855-963-6476 or visit nfbnewsline-in.org.
Live the life you want. Read NFB Newsline.
It's free.
I'm Danny Wayne Beamer, Program Manager of the Elder Blind Program at the Will Center in Terre Haute, Indiana. I introduced the NFB Newsline to seniors in 13 southwestern counties in Indiana. I also utilize the NFB Newsline for my radio station public affairs shows. The NFB Newsline. Experience it today.
Learn more by calling 855-963-6476 or visit nfbnewsline-in.org.
We are the nation's blind, and we read NFB Newsline.
Thousands of Indiana residents feel isolated from the world due to vision problems. Thanks to the National Federation of the Blind, visually impaired Hoosiers can hear newspapers, circulars, and magazines from across the globe.
I'm a Vietnam veteran. I'm blind. I read Stars and Stripes on NFB Newsline.
Learn more by calling 855-963-6476 or visit nfbnewsline-in.org.
Subscribe free to NFB Newsline. And Florence, are proud to say that with the contribution and the time and effort of our membership throughout the state of Indiana, these individuals help create these commercials, along with the gentleman that's playing the commercials and the voice that you hear, Mr. Jeff Elliott. So we just want to pay a little tribute to you all Together, we can do so much. We can move mountains if we just work and learn to stick together, because the force is out there against us. And we know this is Blind Equality Month. So without any further ado, Florence, you have anything else you want to add?
No, sir. I'm just excited about where we're going this weekend. The 2024 NFB convention. We are going to have a wonderful time. The Allens, looking forward to sharing with you. Thank you both for coming. And thank you all for coming out this evening.
Without any further ado, I just want to say thank you to Jeff Elliott and also to Mr. Joe Estes, also to Chris Hollingsworth for doing all the technical stuff. We want to thank the band for their great music. They're always great. And I also want to thank everybody that volunteered, Angela Timberlake, little James Rivers. He's a young man that he volunteered last year, and he called up and asked us if he could volunteer again this year. So we just appreciate him. He's 15 years old, and we just appreciate his interest in helping others. We want to thank his mom, and we want to thank all the volunteers. So, I want to also thank Pam, my wife. So Pam, you didn't know I had a Pam. So Roland, I guess we struck gold with these Pams. So I just want to thank her for all her work and due diligence and all the effort. And she does this even though she's not feeling 100%. She does it. So she's got that Federation blood in her. So we just want to thank you all once again. Enjoy the refreshments, enjoy your time, enjoy the convention, and God bless.
The National Federation of the Blind, Newsline, Indiana. For more information, go to nfb-in.org or call 855-963-6476. That's 855-963-6476. The National Federation of the Blind encourages you to live the life you want.